Okay, friends, you don't need me to tell you the world is a noisy place, but the one thing that always connects is story. It always cuts through. We believe it's the heartbeat of connection. And so today's working session is all about being a better storyteller. These are some quick hacks that you can put to work right away and be a better storyteller today. Welcome to Working Sessions on the We Are For Good podcast. In every session, we're tackling one essential topic and give you practical steps to take meaningful action within your mission today. We're bringing you the experts and playbooks to help you move forward with clarity and confidence. Let's get to work. Okay, welcome back, friends. Becky, we get to be together on a working session. I'm so excited that we both are here.
Yeah, it's good to be back with you, my friend.
Well, I felt like we had to put our flag in the ground because we love story. And we were sitting here just a week or so ago when Julia Campbell's episode dropped about creating the content calendar. That episode was fire. So if you missed that working session, definitely go back to it because she talks about really having these cornerstone stories that you build off of. And today we wanted to double click in some of the power of storytelling. How do we actually craft really compelling narratives? And I feel like, B, you gave me the ability to love story at a deeper level because I never saw myself as a storyteller, but now I do because of just simple ways to see people, to share emotion, to share hook, because we believe every movement and every moment really is driven by story, whether that's a volunteer coming into our organization, maybe it's a donor that makes a decision to join our cause, maybe it's an advocacy campaign. It's always story driven if you really peel back the layers. And so we want to unlock that for you. And we feel like there's some quick hacks that can really get us all off high center and start talking.
Yeah, story is our favorite thing. And Jon, I will only feel like a successful storyteller when you read my favorite book all the way through, A Man Called Uwe.
Yes.
Check back in.
You always bring this up. I feel so guilty.
You have to read this book. It's magical. But really, it's because it is such a magical story. You fall in love with the characters. You root for them. You want to be a part of making this dream come true. And that is really about what we're trying to unlock. Because story isn't marketing, y'all. Story is meaning making. Your supporters and your rabid fans, they are not responding to your tactics, but they are responding to identity, to connection, and to shared humanity. And so the real flow of generosity looks like this. It goes from empathy to connection to action. It's literally those three steps. That is what story unlocks: empathy to connection to action. And what this means is that people don't act until they feel something. People don't stay until they feel like they belong. And so when we lead with stories of possibility and dignity and hope, we invite people into all of those qualities. And that is what fuels long-term movements.
Yeah, I love that little 3-part framework because action is the goal, because you can kind of drop in whatever it is you're actually trying to do in that word action, because our organizations are different, our goals are different. And so this next section of the working session, it's probably time to get out a paper. And I notoriously can never find a pen. So Becky buys me you buy me 20 packs of pens and I lose them.
You don't know, I've already bought you some for Christmas, but they're coming soon.
Okay, sweet. I need one now. Here's the thing, because before we really talk about storytelling outputs, we feel like it's so critical to get our house in order. And so this is something I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you can, if you're driving, maybe don't do this activity. You can mentally do this. If you're at your desk, open up a tab and let's type this out. Here's where we want to start. Number 1, do we know our values? Not just the values that are maybe in placards on the walls, but what are the values, the things that really connect at a deeper level? I think of things like dignity. I think of things like connection. Do you know your values? Write them out. Number 2 is, do you know who you're talking to? And of course, we don't have just one audience. None of us do. Who are those key audiences? Because it's really hard to tell a story and dial in that story if you don't know who is the receiver. Understanding our audience is going to give us so much more clarity. So number 3, you're going to write down, what action are you inviting someone to take? So just like the little framework, Becky, you just said with empathy, connection to action, what's that action? Are you looking for donations today? Do you need someone to sign up for maybe a volunteer event this weekend? Plug in there, and then you've got your values, you got your audience, and you know what the call to action needs to be. You are literally ready to start.
Okay. And so we really want to map this into what you're already doing. And there's a couple ways we think you can do this. One, you just got to build simpler ways to collect stories. We talk about building a culture of storytelling within organizations. Where do you put it? Put it everywhere. At the end of every email, it should be like, what's your story? Let us know why you love us. At the end of your donation form, after they've hit submit for an online donation, you should
I
have an
love that hack.
optional text box there that says,
Yes.
tell us why you gave today. Are you doing regular routines on social, asking for stories, asking people to hit you up in your DMs? It is such an easy way to find connection with someone. And so we really want to create a clear path for how stories move through your organizations. Because once you have those stories, how are you using them? And I wouldn't say all of them have to be external for your audience. We had mission moments and board meetings when our CEO would go, or executive director would go do a speech. There are so many ways that we want story integrated into everything that we do so people can see others and themselves within these stories. And I want you to know this isn't about volume. It's
Mm.
about alignment,
Whew.
because clarity creates confidence for both the storyteller and the supporter. And so if we are all speaking with one voice, Jon, I love that you brought it back to values at the beginning. It's like they're already there because they believe in the same things you do. If you can lift that out of the story, guess what? More people are going to see that you have a dignified approach. Give that power back to your supporters. That's the big unlock there.
And we'd be remiss not to like just carve out time to talk about ethical storytelling principles.
Yes, thank
You know,
you.
you could probably hear that term and it maybe feels like really heavy and weighty, but y'all, this is like the work. This is like what we
It
get
is
to
the
do
work.
in this work, that why we say marketing is mission around here is because we believe the way that we storytell is actually getting to live out our mission in words, in videos, in photographs. And so it's non-negotiable. It not only is protecting trust with your brand, your community, it mostly protects the storyteller, the human that opened up, was vulnerable enough, kind enough to share their story with you. You're entrusted with that treasure. So ethical storytelling is looking at it through the lens of that to say, do we have guardrails in place to center dignity? Are we centering consent? And that's not a forever decision either. That's like something that we
Absolutely.
got to keep open and have the relationship there. Third is agency. Like, does everyone feel agency and empowered to own the narrative that they want to own and own how far they want to go? And then following up with gratitude. How can we reflect back with immense gratitude that someone's willing to share their story in that way? It builds such deep relationships and trust with your organization when you have these moments to hear someone's story. So don't miss the moment to reflect back at gratitude. Y'all, we talk about this a lot, but we are not the experts either. And I just have to point a couple of really incredible resources. Ethicalstorytelling.com has a really great like checklist that you can look at to just have some gut check moments of, does this pass the test of being ethical storytelling? And our friend Maria Bryan, love her so much. Her
She's
podcast, When
wonderful.
Bearing Witness, dives into like
Oh, that is a
how
great
how do we
podcast.
storytell ethically even when dealing with the hardest of topics. And so trauma informed narrative is like kind of an everyday conversation over there. So definitely go check out her podcast and work as well.
Okay, so let's get into the quick work here. And if you're new to We Are for Good, we employ something in a little framework called the impact arc that we do to just about everything. And it's what it's going to do is really create a healthy story ecosystem for you that is building up to the story and all the way into the stoking of the story at the end. So I'm going to walk through these really, really quickly. And there are four of them. If you still have your paper out from where Jon asked you to pull it out, if you're driving, please keep driving and just listen. Number one is staging. And this is prepare your story systems. Before you ever ask, get everything ready. Is your back of house ready to accept all of these stories? Are you holding space? Does someone know that you're coming? If you're coming, like give them a little bit of time, maybe a script. Think about what they're actually going to say. Staging is such a beautiful way to start at step zero and make people feel
Mhm.
comfortable to get into step one. which is really, sorry, number 2 here, which is storytelling. And you want to get the story, you want to share it consistently, you want to share it authentically, because it's going to lead to number 3, which is we want you to syndicate this. And
Mhm.
by syndicate, I mean, I want you to take that story, we want you to break it apart and put it in many different places. Maybe you put it in email, maybe you put a quote on social, maybe you text all of your top 20 supporters a quote and give them a really short
I love that.
something there. But the reality is that a story doesn't have to sit in a vacuum in one medium, and we don't want it
Mhm.
to. We want the story of one to become the story of many. And that is what syndication is going to unlock for you. But it is not enough just to post and ghost and walk away, because you got to do step number 4, which
I'm
is
poking it.
stoking. John is literally
Stoking.
stoking and poking the fire, because that's what we call it. And stoking is when you get in and you respond to someone's comments, to their emotions, if they're emojis that are getting put up there. You are responding and saying, hey, we're going to turn the story into belonging, into engagement, and into generosity. And guess what? When you see those people, when you put a laughing emoji on their funny comment, when you say to their comment of, oh, this really made me feel good, you can say, thank you for the ways that you pour into our community and help make these stories a reality. And the reality is the story becomes more than a story. It just lives on and on and on. And you had one piece of content that did so much work for you, and that is just one story. And so I want to leave you with this as you think about the impact arc and you're thinking about stories as we start to wind down. You can tell the story of a rabid fan or a donor in your mission, and you can tell it once, but think about the evolution that you could bring to that person. Their first story could be how they found you. Their second story could be the impact of their first gift. The third story, do you see what I'm saying? Is you are helping your supporters co-create stories that will live on in your organization. And this is not only a powerful cultivation tool, it's a powerful stewardship tool. It is a powerful tool for humanity and for deep, deep community connection.
Yes, I don't think you're overselling this either, my friend. These are things that we have seen in motion and it applies to literally anything. Like, I really think if you take this framework and apply it, you can see tremendous momentum. So, this is a working session. We're actually watching the clock, which we don't do all the time at
I
We Are for
know,
Good,
we're
but we
bad at
wanted to
it.
keep it tight. So, I want to bring you home with some working sessions, one good thing. It's a little bit of a choose your own adventure because we want to
Ooh,
get
I
you
love that.
activated in the next hour. So, what's something you could do in an hour today? Here's a couple of ideas and pick the one that resonates with you. Number one, what if you shared one true human story today? And spoiler, this could totally be yours. And in
Oh, it
fact,
could
probably should be
totally be
yours.
yours.
We love
Yes.
inviting you to tell your stories, but just modeling it invites belonging. Sharing what you feel, comfortable sharing. It's amazing how that opens a portal, opens a door to others that feel the permission or feel seen enough that they want to share theirs back. So that's an option for you. It could be wherever you want to do that. Number two, here's your second option. Reach out to a handful of supporters to share and ask why they care. It's very simple ask. Inviting someone to tell you their kind of origin story. Why did they get involved with the work? What did this gift mean to them? Putting that kind of onus on there, just getting in the muscle, a memory of just asking for story, like you have no idea what's going to come back to you. So that's an option number two. Number three, this is a little heavier, but audit a couple of your stories for ethics and dignity. I mean, you wrote down your values at the beginning of this. Is the way that you're storytelling reflective of the values that you uphold, the values that you put on highest regard at your organization? Is that coming through with how you storytell? And so I would look in your social post, I would look in your newsletter, I look at any kind of your copy on your website, doing a quick audit for this and just simple word changes, the way that we model how we speak, the words that we use, how we talk about people is everything, and a simple shift can really change the meaning and change how people connect and resonate with your mission. And number four, if you're wanting a little bit of heavier working session, go look at your welcome series. So when someone is onboarding at your organization, they're getting the series of emails. Are you centering, asking for their story? I know there's been a few orgs that we've highlighted over the years on the podcast that's like the first immediate thing that comes back.
Literally the
And it is
first thing.
fascinating, especially if it's open ended, like, hey, just reply to this email and tell me why you're here or tell me what your story is. I know, Becky, you've gotten to meet amazing people in
Oh
just
my
doing that.
gosh. It's
And
amazing. I
it's a
did that when
portal.
I joined the 19th News.
Okay, I was trying
They
to think it
say
was the
just
19th.
reply to the CEO and tell her why you're here. And we had a lovely conversation about women in the news, and
Yep.
empowerment. It was
And it's like, would
fantastic.
you have done that just as a
No,
random bystander? No, but the
no,
simple nudge, the invitation, it changed everything. And
really
I
did.
just wonder what this could unleash as we all kind of take action and invite more story for our organization.
Okay, so I hoped we've really hyped you up for story today.
Yeah.
But I have one question at the very end. What is the accelerant for story? What is the one thing that can help you amplify it to the nth degree?
Is it multiple choice? Are you going to give me
It's
options?
community.
It
It
is
is
community.
literally
Yeah.
community multiplies everything. It multiplies impact, joy, retention, generosity, exposure, network, literally everything. We can find other stories if community can amplify the one, and the one story becomes the many.
Mm.
And just kind of remind yourself, friends, storytelling isn't content creation, it's community creation. And every story should end with an invitation to belong. This is your action. Empathy, connection, action. That is what we want you to move through with these stories. And I can assure you, you will uncover some rabid fans within your midst who are just waiting for the day when you ask them to come in with their portion of the story into yours.
I got chills. I know it's true because we've seen it. We've seen it over and over again. The power of just inviting in. You have no idea what connections are waiting to emerge. Friends, thanks for being here today. So good to see you.
Rooting for you in all things.